Hi there, I'm Drudder. Today is July 31st, 2020, and today is approximately day 136 of my lockdown diary. Is it really a lockdown though? Are we locked down? Well, here in BC, I can tell you my situation anyway. And I'm still calling this the lockdown diary, even though I haven't been doing very many updates to it lately. And that's not because nothing's happening, it's because too much is happening. I can't really keep up with it all, and I can't even really cope with it all. It's coming so fast and so furious. I don't have enough time in the day really beyond taking care of my disabled self and my disabled wife and my healthy, wonderful young son to do anything really. Like I don't even have time for myself to watch a movie at the end of the day. A friend loaned me some DVDs a while back. He said, "Have you finished any of those DVDs?" I said, "Oh, no, sorry. Can I borrow them a little longer? I still haven't seen any." It's not because I don't want to and I'm not trying to. I've only gotten halfway through the first movie in many weeks. So, and I'm sure a lot of you are the same. There's so much going on and our lives are busy anyway. A lot of us have health problems or babies to take care of, family members, elderly family members maybe to take care of. A lot of us are busy. And a lot of us are just trying to keep our businesses or our personal finances afloat in these weird, unprecedented times. So, I haven't been doing a lot of updates, and I'm sorry about that. But there is a ton of stuff happening, and I'm no longer going to attempt to cover it all. I said before, I can't cover it all. Now I'm just not even, if I do another update, I'll do another update, but I don't know. This is essentially a permanent state of emergency. Maybe I'll title the video that. Permergency, basically, a portmanteau of permanent and emergency. It's a state of permergency. We are permanently in the state of emergency here, at least in British Columbia. It has since the beginning of the crisis. I don't know how many weeks it is now, but about half a year, I think, now we've been in a state of emergency, and that's unprecedented. That's many, many, many times more than the previous record, which was 10 weeks. So we're dwarfing that previous record now with this state of emergency. And that is not a good thing, because a state of emergency is another way to say martial law. No, they are not marching in the streets, but they can march in the streets if they want and need to, right? There are no rights. There is no constitution. There is no Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, 1982. It's all null and void right now. So that puts us at a very unprecedented, very fragile, very vulnerable position. And I don't like being in a state of emergency. I don't think it should have been declared at all. I believe that the lockdown, that the quarantines, etc., should have been voluntary, and I think they should have been very, very short, if at all. I think many essential businesses were closed that were considered non-essential that actually were essential. And I think many people's businesses are now being starved out, and there's going to be another crash to the economy as a further wave of people's businesses go bankrupt. People can't pay their mortgages, people can't pay their rent, people can't pay their debts, and there will be a catastrophic explosion here. I don't know exactly when, but that has been in the cards for a long time. Me and many others have been talking about it for a long time, and I think that is now very, very, very much closer than ever before. Now the only thing stopping it is trillions of created digital dollars. Literally trillions of created from thin air digital dollars are the only thing keeping things running right now. So, I'm not even really sitting here. Here, I've got some darts, and these may be thrown, by the way, as I talk about this, but the state of emergency here in BC continuing is a real issue, and a lot of people don't even know that we are in a state of emergency or what a state of emergency means. It means we have no rights. It means they can come into our house. Anyone, government agency, any government agent, anyone that's got a badge basically or a name tag can come in our houses now, can go through our cars, can go in our trunks, can go in our glove boxes, go through our pockets, can go through our bags, can demand your papers, can question you anytime they want. You can be disappeared into a dungeon, literally. That's not hyperbole. You can be taken away and thrown into a jail cell, far away from anyone else and not allowed to see a lawyer even right now. There are no rights in Canada right now because each province has in lockstep declared a state of emergency and in lockstep has not allowed those state of emergencies to lapse. So we are in a state of permergency now. It is a permanent state of emergency all across Canada. A state of no rights, a state of full government rights and full government control of the people, of the economy, of healthcare, of industry, of business, everything. They control and own everything now, officially. And they probably will make it permanent. They're renewing it every 2 weeks. And they're starting to be a little bit sloppy about it now. Oh, another 2 weeks has passed, okay, we're renewing it kind of thing. It used to be a big deal at the first few times. Like, I'm sorry, we're still in a state of emergency. Now they're just barely mentioning it. Oh yeah, another state of emergency, another 2 weeks, another 2 weeks. Pretty soon, they're going to say, you know what, why are we doing this every 2 weeks? Why don't we just make it the default, that the default is a state of emergency? And if anything changes from that, we will make a government announcement and tell the people, okay, there is a state of partial freedom again or whatever. We'll take the state of emergency away for a little while if that comes. But let's make it default as a default on the state of emergency so that we don't have to renew it every 2 weeks. A permanent, official permanent state of fascism. Did you see that? What the? I have had some really weird throws doing this, the dart thing. Anyway, I should cut that, but it was just so ridiculous and bizarre that I'll keep it, because I think it looked like it bounced off the dartboard. I've had some really weird ones. I've had the dart actually go into the back of another dart like they do in movies. I've had that several times, and I'm not a dart thrower, so it's not happening on purpose. Anyway, there's another one. I think I got a 20. But anyhow, that's actually why I like to throw the darts, because it gets me off track and it changes the tone a little bit, because I do get kind of intense sometimes. And this is a very, very troubling topic. Liberty for me is life. I have family members right now. I cannot believe they are not doing anything about what's going on. And, you know, I think, I'll be a little personal here, that a lot of people have probably experienced this. Their family members are pulling away from them right now because the truth is too intense. Every time you try to expose your family members to the truth, even just a little bit of it, or even just ask them questions like, isn't liberty important? Isn't your freedom important? They back off from that. They don't want to hear that at all. They don't want to hear any of these topics, even no matter how gently you broach it to them and how kind you are about it, you know, and how calm you are about it. You know, I come across it tensely in my videos a lot of the time, but when I approach a family member to try and hopefully tell them something that I think that they need to know, I do it, you know, very carefully. I do it very gently. I don't do it intensely. Although it is an intense topic, it is an intense situation, what's happening in the world right now, and we are accelerating. So there is that temptation to grab your family members and say, come on, please, now is the time. You know, you haven't listened to me before, and I've been right about all of this, everything, and I am still right about it all, and you're still not listening. Please, please, what do I have to say? What do I have to do? How do I have to act in order to snap you out of this, in order for you to be able to know that I'm not crazy, and I have been paying attention to all this stuff for so many years that I know more about it than most political commentators on the news, as they call it, on the propaganda box. I don't watch TV. I don't listen to the radio. I don't read the newspaper even. Maybe a very local, you know, free newspaper or something I will look in and see what's happening very local to me, you know, farmer's market around the corner kind of thing. I don't want the politics anymore. I don't want that anymore. I look at it from, you know, from time to time on CNN or something just to see what they are telling people. But I don't watch any of that anymore. I haven't watched anything. I don't have a TV, and I haven't for a long time. So that's helped a lot, but it has driven me apart from people because I don't have those, you know, I don't know what the latest blockbuster is from Hollywood. And I don't know the latest Justin Bieber track name anymore. I used to care about that stuff. I don't anymore, and it has driven me apart from people. And that's not the only thing. There are other things that I have done, I think, to drive people away from me. And maybe you relate to this. I think in the past I have been too intense sometimes. But, this is not, I'm not wrong. We are not wrong. We have been right. I have been proven right. My whole track record still is online. Everything that I've been saying to my family and friends as well, I've been saying online, and it is all still up there. You can go and look at that. Anyone can. It has been sounding less and less like theory and more like fact, and most of it has actually become fact. Proven fact, even in the mainstream, since I put it up, started 10 to 15 years ago with my activism. And it has been accurate. It has all been right. And what I am saying now, I guess, is that there is an acceleration of a control for, essentially, for the planet, for all of Western society, and as much of the rest of the planet as they can get into this control grid, this technocratic control based on smart devices, based on all sales going digitally, based on nothing anymore being in cash or off the books. And that is now being considered terrorism, or at the very least it's being considered crime, and only criminals need privacy and such. But that's not the case. It's not true. So this censorship, this blatant censorship that we can prove, when you put up something about kittens, it's fine. When you put up something about the official narrative even, it's fine. But you put up something that counters the official narrative, and it's not fine. And often it gets deleted, it gets censored, it gets shadow banned. We have documented that, and now they have come out and said that they're doing it. So it wasn't a conspiracy theory, it was fact all along of a conspiracy. And yes, they were conspiring to hide certain agendas, hide certain information. You may have seen recently, there's doctors coming out doing videos, and that's getting censored. There's all kinds of stuff now completely not allowed and just being deleted en masse by the mainstream platforms. So they are truly controlling what the people that watch the mainstream news believe and know. It's sinister. And if you try and wake these people up, if you try and get in the way of them and their perceived reality, it's trouble. It's major trouble, and they will cut you out of their lives. But the thing is, they don't tell you, hey, you're crazy, you need some help. They know that you're not. They just act that way because that's the easiest way to deal with it, is just to say, ooh, that's a little out there, isn't it? Let's move away from him. And these people have kind of fallen silent in recent years. They used to say, you're paranoid, you're crazy, that's bizarre, that's outlandish, all that kind of stuff. Now they've kind of fallen silent, and recently it seems the silence is deafening to me. The elephant in the room is that the crazy conspiracy theorists, we were right this whole time. There is a play for control over society, and it is being enacted right now. And I think a lot of people are still, they cannot handle that truth. That is too big of a truth for them. That is, they look for any other way to explain what's going on. And the official word is, of course, well, no, that's not what's happening here, of course. Well, Bill Gates comes out and says it himself. It's nothing sinister, nothing, there's no conspiracies, nothing weird going on in the background. People aren't trying to profit off of this or vie for control in any way. That anyone saying that is paranoid. Thanks, Dr. Bill Gates, is it? I think, maybe, or is it not? Anyway, but we are being told what is true. We are not allowed to question what is true. If you put up anything that questions the official line, first it was just 9/11, but now it's everything. If you question anything about the official narrative, now you are censored, shadow banned, and deleted. Channels like mine are small. They will eventually get to me. I'm shadow banned now. There's not really much I can do. Not really many people can see me anymore. I've lost my fan base. People don't see my videos no matter what I do about it. And eventually they'll get around to completely deleting me. They've already done many of the main channels, the main truth channels. They're getting to a lot of the people that, alternative media basically. They're getting to all the alternative media, the people that have evidence-based channels that back up what they say, but yet go against the official narrative. So that's not allowed. These credible people, these intelligent people, talking and telling other people about essentially that the official narrative is not correct. That's not allowed. and eventually this channel will be deleted too. But in the meantime, I guess this video I'm trying to get out a little bit of my own frustrations, and maybe it's partially because I don't get through to anybody in real life. When I talk online, at least 3 or 4 people will see that and say, oh, I identify with that, I agree, whatever, thanks for posting, kind of thing. Even reaching a couple of people makes me feel validated in doing videos now still, because I'll be honest, I don't really have a lot of validation in my life. Most people now have stopped talking to me. Most people will not have a conversation with me. They will not even be around me, you know. And maybe it's true. Maybe it's because of the coronavirus. I don't know. But I think that some people are using that as an excuse to not see family members right now. Oh, I'm too whatever. We've all had it. We've all already had it. Anyone who hasn't been in full isolation and quarantine since December has already had it. So, you know, the people that are going crazy about the masks and stuff, it's just really unfortunate. Talking about face shields now, entire face shields, plexiglass, curved bubbles go around your head, basically. You know, come on. It's getting really bizarre. Walking around in space suits almost. Bubble people. For something that we've already all had. And that's just to keep up the facade that we need to continue this state of permanent emergency that we are in, that allows government to do things like enact, essentially, de facto, a cashless society. Almost every cash option is gone now. Transacting with other people in person is almost gone now. You can't really meet face to face with others anymore in BC. Unless you have a specific reason, like it's a cashier at the grocery store. We don't bump into people anymore. We don't talk to people. We don't know anyone anymore. Our communities and our family are even shrinking. Our circles are getting smaller. And I think a lot of people, including myself, are starting to feel the pressure, starting to feel the isolation. I mean, I've been isolated. I've been isolated from my family and from society for a long time, obviously. But this feeling of a state of permanent emergency, that your house can be raided at any time, that you can be taken away for any reason at any time, it is unsettling. And for someone like me, say with PTSD or many other conditions, and anxiety conditions and other conditions as well, but people with PTSD especially, you don't feel very settled a lot of the time, and a lot of anxiety disorders, you just don't feel settled a lot of the time. And when something else is there to add to that, stress, they say, is a killer, and it is true. Stress is a killer. So what I consider stress to be like a long-term, high-level sort of anxiety through time kind of thing. It's anxiety, not just a moment. Anxiety is sort of a sense, a feeling right now. Stress is kind of like if you are anxious over time, it develops into stress. That's how I think of it anyway. And stress is a killer. If you have anxiety or stress over time, you will die from it. You will get an illness that will kill you. You will get cancer. You will get high blood pressure, etc., etc. You will make it if you have stress and high levels of stress for a long time. It's one way to quickly die off, is to be under major amounts of stress. So there will be deaths because of this major amount of stress that they're putting on society. There we go. A normal throw that didn't bounce off. There will be deaths. There have been deaths. There are people suffering right now, massively. This lockdown, whatever it is, this state of emergency must end. We must go back to the semblance of freedom that we had before, so that we can work from there and try and attain real freedom. But we are so far from that now. We can't gather, we can't meet, we can't spread information. We are ducks sitting. We are up for grabs right now to the next charlatan, political or religious, that comes ambling along. As Carl Sagan said, we are truly up for grabs. We are truly vulnerable and sitting ducks right now, like never before. And if you read the explanations for the state of emergency, it's just getting flimsier and flimsier. You know, to maintain safety and carry on our response to the ongoing crisis. You know, like, Shut up. Just shut up. You bunch of fucking liars and tyrants. You know? These guys, these people going to no expense basically to control the narrative, keep people in line, and families are falling apart. Families are suffering right now. People are scared of what they hear on the news. People are completely propagandized. People are completely misled. Most of these people were not awake when this happened, and they're struggling to either wake up or to stay asleep. And I heard a brilliant quote. I don't know who came up with it recently, but it was great, and I believe it. It is something to the effect of, you can't wake someone up who's pretending to be asleep. You cannot wake someone up who's pretending to be asleep. And that's what we have now. Mostly, anyway, especially in my family and all over the place, people pretending that they don't know what's going on. They're pretending that I wasn't right all along. They're pretending that I was crazy all along, that there could be some conspiracy going on behind the scenes, and that someone might try and make a power grab for society. Well, here it is. I didn't see the virus thing coming. I thought it might be a nuke. I thought it might be another big terrorist attack like that, but it's a virus. And this is the control over society that the technocrats have been drooling for decades, for generations now. And I'm going to leave it there. But, you know, this state of per-emergency, this permanent state of emergency has to end. We have to get out of a state of emergency. People are anxious. They know that that door can be kicked in at any time. And it's not just that. There's so many things, there's so many powers the government has now. They've got all power. Anything and all can happen. You can be taken away, your family can be separated, and you can never see them again. And it all can be completely legal now. And that is what's being done, but only on a small scale to certain people. But when they can do it on a larger scale to a larger number of people, that is exactly what will happen. And we are very, very close to that now. I don't want to see that happen, obviously. And it feels very frustrating, like a train wreck in slow motion. And you feel like you're on the train and it's wrecking and you're watching it, and you know, should I jump off? No, I don't know. Like, it's going to hurt either way, but this train wreck is going nowhere fast except to tyranny. We're very, very close to tyranny, with a state of permanent fascism without the boots on the ground here in British Columbia, Canada. Thanks for watching, and stay well. Oh yeah, and gold's about to break through $2,000 US an ounce. Who knew?